One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking.
They said, no, it's funny. It's like they hang them and then they can't. I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room and they think it's a shower, but it's gas. Oh. And they said, right. I said, right, that ain't funny.
This is a bizarre place. And it doesn't take very long, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you've stayed here for any length of time. It doesn't take very long before you realize, or before it gets to you.
It's like, people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax. I don't play that precious nonsense. Oh, move over, get out of here.
Questions about this foreign debt and where this foreign debt's coming from. You get hold of this foreign debt to get us out of trouble, and then they have something called foreign aid, which is, it'd be okay if it was feeding starving children or something, but it's not. They're giving many millions to countries like Red China, North Vietnam, South Korea to develop steel industries.
Have you ever wondered what truly frustrates the elites? It's the sharp minds and independent thinkers, the people who refuse to bend to their sinister rituals. The elites despise those who won't conform, who challenge their authority and think for themselves. Take Denzel Washington and Mel Gibson, for instance. These men have refused to play the devil's game, and for that, they've been branded as enemies. You might wonder why these two in particular face such hatred from the elites. Well, that's exactly what I'm here to explain. Let's start with Mel Gibson. Back in 1997, he made some bold statements about foreign aid that still ring true today.
Questions about this foreign debt and where this foreign debt's coming from. You get hold of this foreign debt to get us out of trouble, and then they have something called foreign aid, which is, it'd be okay if it was feeding starving children or something, but it's not. They're giving many millions to countries like Red China, North Vietnam, South Korea to develop steel industries, and they give this money to them interest-free. But you know who has to pay the interest on that money? The Australian taxpayer has to pay the interest on that money. And to add insult to injury, they are creating industries in competition with our own steel industry. Now they're telling us from both sides to be more productive, stick together, get in front, be more productive, get ahead again, and at the same time they're slipping a quid overseas to make sure that they successfully stifle our own industries.
It's infuriating that the issues he highlighted decades ago have only worsened. This is something Donald Trump has spoken about as well, and yet he's met with intense hatred. Why? Because the elites can't stand the truth. It's not the world that's rejecting the truth. It's the few who pull the strings. They manipulate the media to create the illusion that the world is against anyone who dares to speak out. But this isn't true, and it's why we need to take back control. Now, let's talk about Denzel Washington. He once turned down a role because it insulted his integrity, a role many others would have jumped at for the money. But Denzel stood his ground. He's a man of morals, and that's why I respect him so much.
I got a part in a movie in 1986. I called it They Couldn't Kill. Oh. Yeah, he was supposed to be, he raped a white woman, and they tried to electrocute him, but it didn't work. And he became sort of a cult hero. No, not that one. That was the other awful one. But and then they tried to hang him, and they tried to do all this stuff. And I had a lot of training day in me. And there were some Jewish people in the audition, and I said, yeah. They said, no, it's funny. It's like they hang them and then they can't. I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room and they think it's a shower, but it's gas. Oh. And they said, right. I said, right. That ain't funny. So to me, it wasn't funny about putting a rope around my MFN neck either. I made a point. The guy was like, who the hell is this little nigga?
In a world full of puppets who will do anything for a paycheck, Denzel chose to stay true to himself. Life isn't just about money. Sure, we need it, but a life without morals is a chaotic, satanic playground. That's why Denzel's decision was so powerful. It was a stand against a system that values profit over principle. Mel Gibson has also been vocal about the bizarre, dark side of Hollywood.
This is a bizarre place. And it doesn't take very long, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you've stayed here for any length of time. You come in, you're fresh from the outside, you're off the boat, from the farm, still got shit on your shoes, you're in here, people are charmed by that you've still got shit on your shoes. They're charmed by the fresh approach you bring to it, and that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. But they're also stroking the shit out of you, you know, licking you all over. And that's kind of good for you, too.
It's great.
But it doesn't take very long before you realize, or before it gets to you, It's cascading on you all the time. You can't get away from certain attitudes, from certain modes of behavior that this town and the industry dictate. And no matter how strong you are, when you come in off the farm with those convictions and a certain line of attack, no matter how strong you are going to be affected by this place. It's going to divert you from where you were going.
Sure.
You're going to be diverted.
Many who speak out are labeled crazy, just like Kanye West and Dave Chappelle. Remember when Chappelle walked away from a $50 million contract?
Here, everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14. I've heard the stories, seen these kinds of things play out in front of me. I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through, and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah.
It's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress because, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in controlling.
Correct? People called him insane, but he wasn't crazy. He was choosing his soul over slavery, his freedom over fame. These aren't madmen. They weren't crazy when they first entered Hollywood, so why should we believe they're crazy now? This is a serious issue, one we can't afford to ignore. And then there's Denzel again, this time blasting Hollywood actors for their arrogance.
I was a garbage man, like Troy. Garbage man, you get 3 hours, you get 8 hours worth of work, but you can do it in 3. So you can go home as soon as you finish. Post office, you get 3 hours worth of work and you make it last 8. I did both. I like being a garbage man better. But they weren't bad jobs. It's like people say, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax. I don't play that precious nonsense. Get out of here. Your son got shot in the face. That's difficult. Making a movie is a luxury. It's a gift. It's an opportunity, and most importantly, it's a gift. Obviously, everybody here is talented enough to do that, but don't get it twisted. It's just a movie. It ain't that big a deal.
It shocked many because these actors love to act as if they're more important than anyone else, even more important than those who defend our country. It's infuriating when soldiers, who sacrifice everything, go unappreciated while entertainers bask in the limelight, free to quit whenever they please. This is why Hollywood hates these men. They speak the truth, and the truth is a threat to those in power. But we need to hear it. So I ask you, what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below.